Alright, so I'm going to sketch this periodic function. F of x, we can just say that that's y. Y is equal to 2 sine pi on 2x plus 3. The sine applies to both pi on 2 and x, sort of like a set of brackets here. Now this is going to have a vertical shift. It's going to have an amplitude that's different to 1. And it's also going to have a period that's different to the regular period, which is 2 pi generally, if you've just got y equals sine x. So, I would do it in the following order. Step 1, I would look at the vertical shift. So I'll do that first. Step 1. Then I would look at the amplitude next. I would look at that. That's step 2. The one you want to deal with last, and this is it's probably one of the more painful ones, is new colour, this bit here, which is going to deal with the period. So if you do it in that order, your life just gets so much easier. Okay, so first of all, y equals 2 sine pi on 2x plus 3. That means that it's got a vertical shift of 3 upwards, and we can call the median value 3. So if I just work up, I'll work up in twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Here's 3. 3 is going to be my median value, and I'm just going to draw a dotted line in here just to guide me through this. So that's going to skewer my sine curve. That's going to go straight through the middle of it. So step 1 done. We know what our vertical shift is. Step 2 is our amplitude. Now our amplitude tells us how far from that middle line we're going to be. So we're going to be 2 above the middle line. So that means we're going to be at 5. And we're going to be 2 below that middle line. And that means we're going to be at 1. So that means we're going to have a maximum value of 1 and a maximum value of 5 and a minimum value of 1. I can sort of draw myself in some more guidelines here. At 5, so I'll never go higher than that dotted line, and I'll never go lower than this dotted line. Okay, the A value is positive, which means that our curve is goes in the same direction as a regular sine curve. And a regular sine curve looks like, starts in the middle, goes upwards, down here. That's a sine curve. Whereas if it was to cosine, curves start high, come back down, and come back up. So that's a cosine. Cosine. Alright, so just bear that in mind. So that means that this sine curve is going to start in the middle, it's going to move upwards, and come back down again. The last thing we really need to think about is the period. So the only bit of maths we have to do really, period is equal to 2 pi on b, which means that that's 2 pi over pi on 2. That's 2 pi divided by a fraction, 2 pi divided by pi on 2, which is the same as 2 pi times the reciprocal of that fraction, turn it upside down, 2 over pi. 2 pi times 2 over pi, the pi's cancel out, and we end up with a neat period of 4. So, just going to mark these out, try to keep them even, but I'm not counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a nice number because things happen in quarters with a periodic function. So if you think about it, you start at the top, and then in the first quarter you get to the top. In the second quarter you come back down to the middle. In the third quarter you come back down to the bottom. And in the fourth quarter you come back to where you started. So it's starting here, up to 1, down into the center when we get to 2, down to the bottom as we get to 3, try to keep the curves going here, and then get to 4. Now just read the question really quick. Sketch the graph of f of x equals negative 2 cos pi on 2x in the domain negative 2 is less than x, which is less than 4. So I've gone from 0 to 4, but it wanted me to go from negative 2. That just means I should have worked backwards a little bit and usually if you want to work backwards at the end. So at -1, I'm going to be down here, still with a minimum of 1. And at -2, which is just about off the page, I'm going to be back into that center there. So now I'm in the domain -2 all the way through to +4. So if you follow those steps, step 1, figure out your vertical shift. Step 2, use your amplitude to find your maximum and your minimum. And then step 3, 2 pi on B will give you your period. Once you've got your period, divide it into 4s. This one was easy, but some of them will be more difficult. Once you know your period, divide it into 4s, and then up, down, all the way to the bottom, back to where you started from, if it's a sine curve. If it's a cosine curve, a little bit different.